Oh, well, hey guys, welcome back to my show. So, today I have a special guest in the studios that I think is very, very timely. Perfect timing to be having Angela with us today and talking about one of the major issues happening and that would need more awareness, which is mental health. And we're going to tackle mental health and relationships at the same time. So, you are so welcome. It's very morning for my side. It's what is it? It's 9 a.m. my time. And for Angela, she's in Uganda, so it's about 4 p.m. Ugandan time, East African time. So if you're joining us, thank you. You are so welcome. Please, if you have any questions for Angela, don't forget to just put them in the comments. We'll be having an interactive session here. So please just send us any comments, any questions, any concerns, and we'll be able to tackle them. So I'm praying, fingers crossed, that Angela's network stays stable, because sometimes I know that the network goes crazy. So, but let's welcome Angela. Angela, you are welcome. You are muted. So if you can
Thank
unmute yourself.
you. Thank you so much, Brenda. I'm so happy to be hosted on your show. I'm actually very excited, yeah. And I hope this will be a fruitful engagement.
Yes.
Yeah. So just to shoot right away, yeah.
Yes,
Let me
yes, yes.
introduce myself. I'm called Angela Nsimbi. For those who don't know me, I'm an author, and here is my book. It's called Breaking Free, and I'm not bipolar, a journey of hope, healing, and restoration. I'm also a mental health activist. I'm a mindset coach. I'm a journalist professionally. I've practiced for quite a number of years. Yeah, a mom, 5 children, and married. Yeah, and I love Jesus.
Good.
So basically, Brenda has told me to talk about my book and delve into the aspect of relationships, because our mental health is actually affected by the relationships we have, maybe it's your mom, it's your dad, it's your sisters, brothers, husband, wife, and so in this book, it is a collection of so many things. In this book, I write about my own experience. I had bipolar. It was a rough ride. That was 2009, and I got the diagnosis 2010. I got treatment. I got medical treatment, and so I've moved that journey, walked that journey with different kind of support. So I've written everything in the book, and part of that support, of course, comes mainly from the family, because family has to hang in there with you. It's not an easy time, because I also didn't understand myself. I found myself talking nonstop. I found that I had buried too much pain inside of me, and then of course, one thing leads to another. I had to let it all out. It had to come out. And it came out, it manifested as bipolar, rapid speech, restless. I had no peace. My sleeping patterns were horrible. I mean, there's actually one particular night I remember I spent basically the whole night when I'm in bed, but not asleep. When I actually found that I was not sleeping, that's when I realized there must be a problem. But frankly, I didn't understand that maybe it's anything to do with my mind. But yeah, I had that kind of situation. But then obviously it also came from a strained relationship. My marriage was strained at that point, was struggling. Our communication wasn't very good. And I was raised in a polygamous family, two mothers, my biological mom and a stepmom. And growing up in a polygamous family also has a lot of politics. Right? It comes stress. It can stress. It's actually a painful season as well. And then as a first child of my mom,
Mm-hmm.
I grew up bottling too much inside of me, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's been a chapter in my book about how I related with mom. I found myself in a position where I was her confidant and I
Mm-hmm.
was afraid to be vulnerable before her. Because when she separated with my dad, I found that I had to be there. You know, like you are the anchor now. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
my childhood was repressed. So when my childhood was repressed, I just found that my needs always came last. You know, every other sibling's needs came before mine. Mine always came last. And being the firstborn, I felt maybe it's not right to
Mm-hmm.
ask that my needs should be met. And so I always kept quiet. Even when it was a basic need, I would still keep quiet. And obviously, that pain built up over the years. And yeah, I think I'll wait for you, Brenda, to continue asking.
Wow, I mean, it sounds like it's been a journey for you. So, and some of these things we like. I think society is just starting to pick up on them.
Yes.
Somebody to actually come out and say, I am bipolar. So
Yeah.
it's that mostly in our African society, these are things that are like, are you crazy? Like, like what is even that?
Yeah, what is
So
that?
yeah, what is that? Yeah. So, and I feel like so many people actually are struggling with such things in their lives, and they don't know. They're not sure how society is going to look at them going forward. So, what inspired you to come out? I mean, you started seeing some signs. How long ago was this? For example, if we can go back in.
If you can go back in time,
Mhm,
when I started noticing it something unusual, it was about 2008, but
mhm,
late in the year, because I found that I was becoming withdrawn. I found I had paranoia, always suspecting everybody to hurt me. I found that I was very suspicious of people. I was
mhm,
not comfortable. I also didn't want to do the things I normally used to love doing, hanging out. My circle of friends has never really been big, but
mhm,
at least, those moments of having fun, I was
mhm,
no longer in that place. I was no longer enjoying. I love writing, for example, but
mhm,
I was also no longer enjoying to write anymore. I
mhm,
wasn't
mhm.
enjoying it anymore. I would go to work and it's like I'm even wondering why I turned up to work. Work was a boring routine, very, very boring routine. So that is where, hmm, that is where I'm coming from.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so did you share this with like who did you just talk to yourself? Like, oh, who did you I'm asking these things so that if somebody else is watching,
Mm.
they can know. So if let's say I start realizing such signs, who do I talk to? um and how accepting is, let's say, your husband? I mean, of course people are different, or your next of kin, or your mother or your sister or your best friend. So who did you talk to first, and how was the reaction?
Maybe what I can say,
Mhm,
when I had the crisis, the mental
mhm,
health crisis,
mhm,
whether people wanted to listen to me or not, they just had to pay attention because I was talking nonstop. And if someone is talking a rapid speech and
mhm,
say, I'm talking from morning till evening, whether you like it or not, you listen because you realize there's something wrong. Something has gone amiss.
mhm,
So at what point I started to talk,
mhm,
I first had actually the breakdown,
mhm, mhm,
got treatment. My husband had to treat me. There was no room for us to talk about it at that point
mhm,
because the important issue then was emergency. Let me get her help. You
mhm,
get? Yeah,
mhm,
that was the emergency point. Not to say, oh, no, 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 no. We need to first talk about it. That room was just not there because it
Not
was an
there.
emergency. So
Mm-hmm.
I got medication. What I recall, my husband took me to hospital,
Mm-hmm.
uh, got medication, and then he would administer that medication. He took a week off work and had to give me that medication.
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, at the point when I eventually felt, I guess it's about time I started talking about this stuff,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
is because I guess it's also because of my profession as a journalist. I just
Mm-hmm.
felt this is what I went through. I would
Mm-hmm.
want other people to have a better experience. I would
Mm-hmm.
want other people, I mean, who are going down this road, not to go through the hustle I went through,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because access to information on mental health in Uganda at that time, at least these days we have webinars, these days there
Mm-hmm.
are people talking about mental health, but then it was an impossibility. It was just not happening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I realized that now because no one is talking, let me talk. But of
Mm-hmm.
course, because issues of talking, there's stigma that's around mental health issues. People are not comfortable with
Mm-hmm.
that. So I said, no, let me first talk to my husband about it. What does he think if I go public? He told me, if you want
Mm-hmm.
to share your story, share your story. So I went ahead and shared my story. I remember I would talk to him. He would also talk to me, reads up on stuff. My bigger sister, she went to be with the Lord in 2017. But
Mm-hmm.
before she left, my sister also used to read up a lot on bipolar, a lot. And then she
Mm-hmm.
would share information with me. So I found myself in a place where I wanted to understand this whole thing. What is bipolar?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is a mental health crisis? And how can you support somebody without making them feel less of a
Yeah.
human being? I just went
Absolutely.
public because mainly to break the stigma and also to make sure people get help so that they don't treat the mental health crisis as something that, this is taboo. Who even talks about these things?
I
Who
know.
even thinks that these things happen, because
Mm-hmm.
everybody thinks, because I've engaged with some people, they say, oh, our family name, how will people see that we have these
Mm-hmm.
issues? No, we
Mm-hmm.
can't go public. Yeah, but for me, I decided to go public to show people that a mental disorder is
Yes.
not the end of the road. You
Right.
can get help and you can add value to people's lives. Yeah.
That's true. Wow. So,
Mm.
how, so, my gosh, I don't even know. Like, I don't know how you did it. I have somebody here. Hey, guys, I want to give a quick shout out to my friends who are watching. Toya, thank you for joining in from Johannesburg. I see Sonia. Thank you for joining us. Keeping Hope Alive TV. I don't know. Is that Shiko Hope? I don't know if that's my friend Shiko Hope because Keeping Hope Alive TV is the same as Shiko Hope Alive TV. So it's kind of close. I'm wondering if it's the same. Hi, Lynn. Thanks for joining us. Kikiriza. So, but Angela, thanks for sharing this because, like I said, it's timely. I feel like even the COVID time, if anything, made some people who have such situations worse because people are used to being out talking to somebody else and releasing your venom on somebody, but we were put in such a place where you had to be in your own cocoon. So, but no, I'm sitting outside, but the airplanes are like loud. I don't
Don't
know why.
worry. Either way, I can't hear them.
Okay, okay, good, good, good.
Yeah.
So when how has it been for you, like coming out and trying to talk to other people? Do you find that people are more open to sharing their situations because you're a coach, you're a mental health coach? So how are people coming out? How could you encourage other people? How can they do it to come out and seek for help?
First of all, sharing, by the way, your story is a
Mm-hmm,
good start
mm-hmm,
because
mm-hmm.
but you have to be in a place where you're comfortable to share
Yes.
it. And you also share information you are comfortable to share, such that whoever knows it, it is okay, as long as it's information that is helping people. And also, at what point can you feel comfortable? That is somebody, it's
Yeah.
everyone their journey. So
Yes.
you can't break it down for them and say, this is when you'll be comfortable. But
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I can clearly say, which is good, when you begin to talk, your healing starts,
Mm-hmm.
because you begin to mix with other people who actually are having a rougher experience than yours. And
Mm-hmm.
then you begin to be grateful and say, oh my God, I thought my situation was the worst. And then it's amazing, because I'm sure where you are at now, you might be more conversant with peer support work, because I've written about it in my book. This is a new
Mm-hmm.
concept which started in Uganda as a project. And
Mm-hmm.
thankfully, I participated in that project. And
Mm-hmm.
now, when you meet people at different levels of recovery,
Mm-hmm.
in this mental health journey, when you meet them, there's a certain strength you draw from each other. The experiences are so rich. I can't even compare them to any psychotic medication.
Mm-hmm.
It is, you get strengthened when you share experiences. You feel, then someone will also tell you, oh, you're having a challenge here, this is how I sorted my issue, this is how I dealt. So by you sharing, you're actually strengthening each other, you are healing together. And I do that a lot with a support group which I formed some like about 5 years or so ago, which is
Yeah.
called Heart to Heart, right? And that
Mm-hmm.
heart to heart chat, we get to meet. Of course, with the COVID situation, it has been hard. So
Mm-hmm.
what we do, we've been doing the virtual meetings,
Mm-hmm.
but at least in those meetings, it's a safe space. People can talk, you share your strengths, your tough side, everything. People are actually comfortable to share.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I think you're going to share that with me so I can put it in the description. If there are any other people who would like to be part of it, how they can, get to contact you guys and join, because I know they're there, and they need space. Everybody needs that space where you feel comfortable, where you feel
yes,
like somebody is going to understand what I'm going through,
true.
and relate with me, not to judge
Yeah,
me, but be like, and where a space where somebody will be like you just said, oh, I thought I was going through hell.
yeah,
Actually, mine is not worse. There's something worse. So
true.
that's usually a good place for somebody who's hurting to be. So yeah, please share with me that information so I can put it in the description for people who would like to. I want to talk about your book. So guys, if you are looking for this book, I have to get myself a copy. It's on Amazon. Can you hold it still? It's called Breaking Free, and she's the one who wrote the book. She's the author, and that's Angela Nsimbi. And you guys can find it. Where can they find this book? And maybe
You can
what?
find it on Amazon. I
Yes,
actually shared the link with you, right?
yes, yes,
People who
yes.
are not like in Uganda, but
Mm-hmm.
people who are in Uganda, they can buy it. They can get it online from Jumia,
Mm-hmm.
and then others would have to contact me.
Yes, yes, it's perfect.
Yeah. So, but otherwise, I've tried my best to make sure that it's accessible online,
Mm-hmm.
and so I mean, so that people can get access to that information. As an ebook, it's already on Amazon Kindle.
Yes, yes, yeah. I,
Yeah.
I looked at it last night. I put it in my cart. So it's about to press buy, and I need to read it. And
Okay.
I might not even be reading it for just me, but for me to know if somebody else approached me that I know that is going through the same, how can
Yeah.
I help them?
Yeah.
So yeah. So tell me, how has the journey been? Like, what testimonies are you getting from people that you're sharing your journey with? How is the feedback from people, and
Yeah.
what's your goal going forward?
Amazing. The feedback is amazing,
Mm-hmm.
because from the day I went public, people
Mm-hmm.
started coming to me. When you're in the newsroom,
Mm-hmm.
our work is a public thing,
Mm-hmm.
and not many people are comfortable to talk about such things. But when my story came out, because the first time I wrote my story was 2013. The second time was 2015. People would meet me in the corridors, take me
Yeah.
aside. I have this problem. I have this, you know, that's how it started. And my mom is this, mommy is that. I have a brother like this. Sometimes I think some people probably would be asking for themselves, but were not bold enough to say it. Yeah, but then I would refer them to the relevant professionals, because some people just need maybe support from maybe a psychiatrist. They would need an assessment. Then others, maybe it's an issue of medication, or others are looking up for a particular counselor. I would still refer them. But then one thing I can tell you, because this is something recent and it excited me so much. A young girl I met, she's just a year older than my daughter. I met her, and then she told me, when she met me the first time at the Heart support group. The young lady just cried and cried and cried. Now I looked at her and wondered, what do I do? How do I support this girl? Was telling me, I have HIV. I was born with HIV. She had a lot of stuff on her head. She was crying amidst the sobbing. She's telling me all these things. Now in my mind, I'm thinking, how am I going to support this girl? How am I going to help her? And this is how I was able to help. I have another friend who is an HIV/AIDS advocate.
Yeah.
Well, I thought, why don't I link them up? I know everybody has mental health, and people can have challenges regardless, but I felt she would connect more with my friend. So I linked them together. And when I linked them together, eventually, because this friend of mine was in Kampala, she eventually goes up country, and she has started a center there. And when she was there, this young friend of mine, I refer her, and she goes. And she starts to volunteer. She starts to mix with other people in the community. She sent me a message recently. My tears, the tears just
How old was the girl, you said?
She's 21. She's very young.
She was born with HIV.
She was born with HIV. But the beautiful thing is that she told me, Angela, I'm so confident now. I share my story. I'm not ashamed anymore. I could feel the vibrance. I could feel the life in her. I was just excited. Those are the moments when I'm happy that I went public, because I would never get to meet such people.
Yes.
And then another person who has OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. He joined the group. He's a quiet guy, kind of keeps to himself. But by joining the group, one day it was public. And he writes about his experience of attempted suicide.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about it because I saw in some of the things, there's a webinar that I attended that you did on LinkedIn. I went through LinkedIn. And it was about, so you guys check out Angela Nsimbi. She's on LinkedIn as well. That's actually where we got to meet. It's another nice professional page. But I love it there because it keeps everything very professional, work-wise. And so it's not like Facebook, it's not like Instagram, but it's like a serious platform. So you talk about attempted suicide prevention. So how is that like? And like, how are people even coming to you to talk to you about such stuff? Like, what are the points that you could point out for people to watch out for, or what could they do? Like, how does somebody know that they're thinking about committing suicide? I don't know if that's even a question.
It's okay. Let me try to explain it by giving another example of a young lady I have mentored. And she actually, I've mentored this young lady for some years. I have invested a lot of time walking this journey with her. And so one time I was talking to her, because for me, I just get it. I sense when someone is not well. I just can connect when someone is low. They don't have to say anything. I'll just know it.
Mm-hmm.
So when she would go through those moments, goes quiet, just sleeps, no talking, nothing. She's not her usual self. So
Mm-hmm.
I would engage her, talk to her, and all those things. And one time she tells me, you know what? The other day I almost committed suicide. I was going to commit suicide. And I told her, what were you going to do? She told I was going to do it because she had tried looking for jobs and she was not getting jobs. She was getting frustrated in her relationships. And she said she is done. And I said, oh my God, thank you, Jesus. Thank you. She never did it. And I told her, what would you have done to me if you had done that? So,
Mm-hmm.
what I see, you need to love people.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see Bambi, someone has said a God given gift.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Moana. Yes. Yeah.
Moana. Thank you. You have to learn to love people because
Mm-hmm.
even the people around us, we should not be self absorbed, you know, or self centered. Because
Mm-hmm.
when you are like that, you will not notice. Brenda, if you, even though you had 5 people in your home or
Mm-hmm.
20,
Mm-hmm.
if you are too busy, you'll never notice if someone is upset. You'll never. But then if you take a moment and try to understand the people around you, you wonder, why is Brenda like this today?
Mm-hmm.
How
Mm-hmm.
come she wasn't also fine? The other day I noticed, then you begin to notice patterns.
Mm-hmm.
You need to check it out. Talk to them. And if things are not, because sometimes it can be even beyond talking,
Mm-hmm.
look out for a professional, go to the psychiatrist, have the person assessed,
Mm-hmm.
you nip it in the bud. However, I still encourage people to always talk because psychosocial support, that psychotherapy is important, very
Mm-hmm.
important. It gets to the root of someone's pain. And many
Mm-hmm.
times that is not dealt with if all you do is give someone medication, medication, medication. And I'm not decampaigning medication. Medication
Right.
has a place, but we need to talk and talk and talk. Yeah.
So I think it's what I just picked from that. One of the things that I just picked from it is paying close attention to people around you.
Yes.
They could be your friends, they could be your family, and
Mm,
it's very easy for us to get absorbed into our own daily lives, and
true.
um, but I think if you extend an eye to, hey, Brenda today is acting different. What's happening? So, but
Mm.
like I said, you have a gift, Angela. So,
Thank
yeah,
you.
the like people you can. I feel like I can see somebody and like if I like the more I talk to them, like a few times, and then the next time I talk to them, I see some change. I'm usually forced to be like, "Are you okay? Is everything
Mm.
okay?" So I
Yeah.
think that's what like most of us need to adopt such manners, such behavior,
Mm.
such self awareness of like, okay, uh, sometimes you can even see it on social media,
Yeah.
so the people like you always see on social media, maybe happy people, and
Yeah.
then you can see a trend starting to change of like how they comment. Maybe they're starting to get bitter in their comments.
Mhm. Sure.
Yeah, and maybe they were always like the very positive people, but now you see them going a different way.
Yeah.
So I think that's like the time you need to nub it and be like, hey, something might not be right with this person.
True.
So maybe like approaching people that way, you don't have to do it publicly. You can send them like an inbox. If you have their phone number, you can reach out to them. Hey, I'm just checking on you. And don't go through third parties, like trying to find
True.
out. Yeah, don't go through a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
But I saw Brenda doing this. Do you think she's okay? No, if you care much, because when Brenda finds out, she'll not be
Mm.
happy with you. That's
True.
one.
Yeah.
So approach that person and be like, hey, are you okay? I'm just checking in. And then see what they say. If they get too defensive, maybe it's not yet time for them to open up to you. But don't give up. Keep checking in on this person until you actually they'll be comfortable at some point to be like, hey, by the way, something was not going well with me that time. I was going through this and this and this. Um, So let's see here. Moana says, sometimes it's hard to talk to me, to talk. Me, I have been there, but it's true. Talking is a step of healing. What do you say about that, Angela?
We are all different.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
can explain to her a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And, my sister, who I was very close to, passed away. Now it's coming
Mm-hmm.
to 4 years. It will be 4 years in December.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, this is the one person I would tell my
Mm-hmm.
business.
Mm-hmm.
But you get to a place,
Mm-hmm.
you have to learn to open up. And you have to learn to open up because it's good for you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to learn to open up and not be ashamed that you need help. Because, there's a way the world can label you that, oh,
Mm-hmm.
imagine she's weak. She couldn't handle this. It is, let them talk. But as
Yeah.
long as you get help, that's what is important. And
Mm-hmm.
for Moana, what she has just said, it's very important. To find safe space. And that safe space could be a support group. It could
Yes.
be a therapist, because really the therapist, it's part of the ethics. They can't go around talking about you. You need
Mm-hmm.
that safe space. But another thing that I can never stop talking about, I'm a
Mm-hmm.
Christian, Brenda. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm showing you this my Bible. I use
Mm-hmm.
this Bible a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We can look for textbooks and all that, but the word, it has a powerful thing in it. And I
Mm-hmm.
made bookmarks, right? They are,
Mm-hmm.
I hope you can see them properly. And that
Yeah.
is, I had my photo shoot, and
Mm-hmm.
there I am excited. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I wrote, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, if you observe that.
Yes.
And when I wrote that, it's a verse actually in the Bible. It
Yep.
is Psalm
Yep.
139, verse
Mm-hmm.
14.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to reaffirm myself. We have to learn to love ourselves. Because even
Mm-hmm.
the Bible tells us, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So we should ask ourselves, Brenda, you and me,
Mm-hmm.
even before you
Mm-hmm.
think of the audience,
Mm-hmm.
do we love ourselves? Brenda, you need to ask that question to yourself. Do you
Mm-hmm.
love yourself? Because if
Mm-hmm.
you love yourself, then that's the package you give to others. And if
Yes.
you don't, they'll also say, hey, she's treating us nasty because
Mm-hmm.
you don't love yourself. So I had to learn to affirm myself. I had to learn to see the good in me. And because I went through a season where I was being gaslighted by loved ones, verbal abuse, psychological abuse, and it was hard, very hard. So I had to get to the point where I'm not taking this anymore. I must
Mm-hmm.
take my power back and start decreeing over myself who I am and believe that is who I am. So
Mm-hmm.
we need to get to that place and
Mm-hmm.
pour
Mm-hmm.
ourselves out. Those moments where we meditate on the word, because we are encouraged, meditate on what is good, what
Mm-hmm.
is noble, what is
Mm-hmm.
pure. And if you notice, if you meditate on good things, you will have a better day.
Mm-hmm.
But if that
Mm-hmm.
day you meditate on all the horrible things, oh, the other person, the other day they did this, oh, the other day, you will not have a good day. So that
Mm-hmm.
is also a nice, simple way of practically taking care of our mental health.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
mentioned all these things in my book, Brenda. I actually
Mm-hmm.
mentioned them in my book. And
Yeah.
when you begin to talk about, because I talk about my journey when I was pregnant
Mm-hmm.
and walking the journey of having bipolar.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
some people might when you
You
can
can.
have babies. Yeah, but you need also to be monitored by your doctor,
Mm-hmm.
because there are certain stages of pregnancy where you shouldn't be on medication, but you
Mm-hmm.
need to be, in touch with your doctor. So when you have such conversations, you are encouraging also doctors to listen to the patient, to their client, not to listen to you as, okay, not to treat you as a statistic or someone to be ignored. When
Mm-hmm.
you've been diagnosed with a mental disorder, people might think, but does she even understand?
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
though you explain to her, does she understand? But I'm telling you, we understand.
Right.
Because
Right.
for me, the journey I have walked so far, I understand. I'm not stupid, and I understand perfectly. And I've met people even when they are not well, and they
Mm-hmm.
understand. So,
Now, so let's say, is it actually very popular now in Uganda? Let's say for somebody to be diagnosed like as bipolar. Like, what do they even do? Like, is it just like psychological, or is it? How do they tell? Like, how are the doctors able to tell and then assess you and then be able? Is there enough medication? Like, what medication is given?
okay, what I know, at least
Mm-hmm.
from my experience while I was undergoing treatment, is
Mm-hmm.
that our doctors, at least the doctor who treated me,
Mm-hmm.
did blood tests. They, of course, did a session of psychotherapy. They also
Mm-hmm.
had to talk to me, talk to my husband.
Mm-hmm.
They also have to gauge what is the situation like at home,
Yeah.
because challenges happen, and you don't just wake up one day and break down. No,
Mm-mm.
it is a process. It is a process, and
Yes.
part of the process, like one of the people who mentioned about polygamous families, there's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of strain, and many times you think you are being strong because the society has conditioned us that way.
Mm, mm,
Keep
mm,
quiet, get on with your life. But one
mm-hmm.
thing is, you actually cannot get on with your life. You
Mm-hmm.
can't.
Mm-hmm.
You One day it will catch up with you. You will
Mm-hmm.
break down. So you think, okay, I'm fine. I'm fine. Another day, more clashes, more friction. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm good. The years go by. You get married. Also, in the marriage, you get your challenges. No, 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 no. I'm good. I'm good. And people
Mm-hmm.
have to know that I'm fine. People have to
Yeah.
know I've got it all together, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
coming from that place. So what I'm saying, I know. I'm not saying stuff I have read from a textbook.
No,
This is
no.
stuff I have lived.
Mm-hmm.
So you realize that, you know what? I am not fine, and I'm tired of faking fine. So no more faking fine. I'm tired. So because you are tired, then you get solutions. How do I get help? So for me, obviously, because it was an emergency, hospital first.
Mm-hmm.
Then after
Mm-hmm.
years of taking medication, because the medication is there are some old generation medications on our market. Most of it
Mm-hmm.
is free in the
Mm-hmm.
referral hospital, Butabika
Okay.
Referral Hospital. But then others, which are the newer generation, those ones are now available in pharmacies as well, but are being sold, and they're quite expensive. Because, Brenda, I'm telling you, that was now years back, right?
Right, right, right.
Because I stopped taking medication in 2014. But there's
So
a
how
dosage
long were you on the medication?
for 5 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Was it like a daily thing that you had to take?
Yeah, I had to take it every day.
Mama.
Actually, for a start, I had to take 3 kinds of medications for a start.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, because I would go for reviews, I would go with my husband, go with my
Mm-hmm.
family, go for the reviews. And as the doctor monitored my progress,
Mm-hmm.
they started the meds. I would get off them gradually. And then I was retained on one kind of medication.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one which I actually took for the 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so what the doctor did was to reduce the dosage. And as the doctor reduced the dosage, it got to a place where, because the tablet is a slow release, now that particular dosage she recommended, they were not available in the actual size.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get another tab, that same tab, another tab, and break it in half to get the recommended milligrams. She
Those,
said
yeah. Mm-hmm.
the recommended dose. But then I found that I was feeling uncomfortable. It was like it was giving me a high, a high, which was uncomfortable. And then I wondered, am I going to live like this? And
Mm-hmm.
then I read, like I said, I attend workshops, webinars.
Mm-hmm.
And then one workshop I attended, they were talking about side effects of
Right.
psychotic meds. Like people develop hypertension, others get diabetes. Now I asked myself, do I want to walk this road? Do I want to go there? No, 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 no. So I decided, no, I think I've had it. But I had a discussion with my doctor.
Mm-hmm.
The medication. And but otherwise in Uganda currently has only 50 psychiatrists only,
Okay.
and the population is 43 million about. Yeah. So we are still, it's not a good place. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why
Mm-hmm.
Uganda we are now, because right now at Butabika Referral Hospital, we have a project, it's European Union funded,
Mm-hmm.
peer support, right? Now, this kind of thing I told you is that people with lived experience hold the hand of another person who is
Right.
really in a crisis. You work with this person that journey
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
by sharing your success story. You
Mm-hmm.
understand?
Mm-hmm.
And by you sharing that success story, the other person will say, but if she went through this, she knows the side effects. If
Mm-hmm.
she's where she is today, I can get out of this.
Right.
And frankly, I have found that more effective than any other kind of counseling. Because somehow, if someone else counsels you and they've not walked your journey, I'm
Yeah,
telling
it's
you,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you don't relate.
You don't relate. Yes,
Yeah,
I
you
agree.
don't connect. Yeah. Because for me now, when I would see people, if someone tells you, oh, you've taken epilem, okay. Hey, that one, it increases your appetite. Oh, you become overweight. All those things you are sharing. But someone understands. They know, no, this one understands where I'm coming from. I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you, I would not hold a cup. It's because I don't have a cup near me. But
Mm-hmm.
Brenda, I couldn't hold a cup. I couldn't hold it still. My hands would just go.
That could be shaking.
Yes, side effects of medication.
Mm.
And so when I talk to somebody who is walking that journey,
Mm-hmm.
they'll know, no, she understands. When you have been in a place where people look at you, even some family members, and they are even afraid to ask what happened. They're even afraid to ask, oh, how are you keeping? Why? Because this is a subject people don't talk about. We keep it under wraps. We sweep this stuff under the carpet. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we have to get to a place where we talk, 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 talk. And Uganda, frankly, Brenda, I can tell you, Uganda is now, at least we are talking.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
know we
like
are not
that
doing
you.
as much as we should, but
Yeah,
at
but
least,
this is a good beginning. This is a good
yes.
beginning when people who I don't want to say a victim, but a person who's been there starts to share their
Yeah,
journey with other people. That's like
true.
the greatest point because there's like doctors telling us this and that, but you're like, hey, you don't even have you ever been to it, like through it? So,
Mhm.
but when a person who has been there, it's like talking about domestic violence. You know,
Yeah.
if somebody has been there, has lived in that space, is talking about it, there's a way like it cuts deep into a person who is actually going through the same or is suspecting to be going through the same.
Mm.
So I am so glad you're talking about it. You're coming out openly. You're writing about it. One or two or three people pick an interest. That's a win.
Yeah,
To me, that's a success,
I
and
know.
the word will spread out because I know there's so many people. You, I feel like it's happening a lot now, and so many people don't know it.
Yeah.
And people maybe they don't know the signs, but the more we can talk about it, the more like people like Angela can share their experience, the more maybe some people will relate to her and be like, I think I'm going through the same. How about I talk to her and see? Because she's been there, maybe she'll say, no, 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 no. Yours is a different disease. It's a different situation. That's not what you have. Oh, but maybe here is a person you can talk to, a professional doctor or a psychiatrist or whoever
Mm.
that could be able to help you. So this is amazing to me that this is encouraging, this is empowering, because I know so many people will love to understand some of these facts about different things. Now
Mm.
you spoke about relationships. So do you if let's say like you're in a relationship, you're married, but
Yeah.
how do you think, so if let's say you were the other person, you were your husband who was not going through what you were going through, how do you handle a spouse or a friendship that is in that situation? Or what did he do, and what could you have done different?
Okay, some of the things he did that were not right
Mm-hmm.
were the aggression. There was a
Mm-hmm.
bit of aggressiveness,
Mm-hmm.
but also maybe, sometimes you can't exactly say, I would have done this, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you also don't know until you are there.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Because, you love someone very much, and then you are also not sure
Mm-hmm.
about why they're behaving the way they are behaving. So probably you're thinking, what's wrong with this person? Are they just being difficult?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have never seen them like that. Because,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's different if maybe you get married to someone and maybe
Mm-hmm.
from the word go, even while you are in courtship, you knew that, oh, you know what, my wife or my husband or my fiance has these issues. So you get into the relationship when you know. But
Yeah.
this wasn't the case for me and my husband. He knew a different Angela and he was seeing a different Angela. So he also became distant.
Mm-hmm.
And but one thing that I commend him for, even when he would be distant sometimes, he always made sure, does my wife have medication? Whatever it took, he would make sure the medication is there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He made sure, is she rested, because you become your, how we would call it, your brother's keeper. Even though you are
Yes.
married to each other,
Yeah.
you're your brother's keeper.
Right.
Because the first time when I was beginning to take the medication, I
Mm-hmm.
did something which was a nice. I would hide the medicine and not take it. I didn't want to take it. In my mind, I was thinking, these guys think I'm crazy. I'm not going to take
Mm-hmm.
it. So I would keep it, and somehow Bambi, he eventually discovered it and forgotten where I used to hide it. And then he told me, you know what, Angela, please don't do this. You need to take your medication, talking. You need to take your medication because
Mm-hmm.
it's for your own good. So we have had those engagements. Then there are other times, of course, we don't agree on certain things. But what I have seen is that what I would do differently is that be more understanding,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I think you also are more understanding when you have walked the journey.
Yeah.
Because the
Yeah.
truth is, when someone is going through a crisis, they try your patience.
Right.
They try your patience because even someone who never used to quarrel, just like that, you are quarreling, you are saying this, you are saying that, and that's not you, it's out of character. So
Mm-hmm.
someone also needs to be patient with you. There's need for patience, there's
Mm-hmm.
need for understanding, and sometimes instead of shutting the door in someone's face and saying, you know what, I'm bored, I'm tired, push,
I'm
you
out.
know, yeah, you just hang in there. It's hard because I
Mm-hmm.
actually have a chapter where I talk to my husband and he also says his story here in my book. And the truth is, he lived life by ignoring me, but you can't ignore your spouse. I think the
Mm-hmm. You
only way you
can't.
can
Yeah.
ignore them is they are really no longer there. But as long as the person is there, you can't ignore them. So he has one thing that I see with the conversation, we need to talk more. We
Mm-hmm.
need to talk more. But one thing that at least he also did, which I would have also done, is to read. Because I'll be honest, Brenda, I also didn't understand what is this thing? What is this? Because even the doctor to finally tell me that it's bipolar, I had to ask him, and it was a journey of 2 years treatment before he explained what bipolar was to me. So these things are not easy. Sometimes you think everyone knows it, but they
Mm-hmm.
don't. Because
Mm-hmm.
one minute you are excited, the next minute you are very depressed. And someone is wondering, what's wrong? I
Yeah.
mean, you're like giving mixed signals. What? Who are you?
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did
So
did you
for
have
some,
moments, yeah, where now that you look back, did you have moments where you could catch yourself, or is it like it's a situation where you just don't even know what you're doing. Like you don't know you're hurting somebody, let's say your kids. But are there moments where you could catch yourself? You're like, okay, now I'm going extreme, and then you snap back. Is there that control of yourself?
When you're actually having a crisis, Brenda, you have
No.
no control. That is the truth. Anyone who has gone through a mental health crisis, they will be lying if they say they have control. When it is a crisis, no control whatsoever. However, because when you walk this journey, you begin to understand yourself better. You ask yourself, what triggers me? Start taking care of that. If you know, maybe being if my children are shouting too loud or what, I need a quiet room to be, do that and let your children know, and they will respect that. And when many people who have had bipolar, we love to work, and sometimes you want to multitask, and sometimes that multitasking is a sign that things are tight. Yeah, you're almost
Mm.
because
Mm.
I have a friend, she told me I can do even up to 9 projects at the same time. Who does that? I have another friend who told me I was writing 10 books at the same time. Who does that? And during the COVID time, the lockdown, but who does that? You find yourself, you have a lot of energy. Yeah.
See,
So,
now you're giving me some of the signs. So
a
these are
lot.
the things that some people don't know. Like, so this is actually what I was asking earlier. What are the signs that somebody could see? Let's say, you might not see them, you yourself, if you're the one going through that, but somebody else, your friend, your spouse. So now that you're pointing them out are things that would help me to help my
Yeah.
friend or my spouse. So,
Yes. So a lot of energy, and you're talking about big things, regardless of whether you can afford them or not. They call it grandiose ideas.
wow.
The excitement is too much. You are in overdrive. Then but you also learn as you go along, because you begin to know, when I'm around, because for me, there are some family members I don't like hanging out with. I do not care whether we share the same mother or father. I just don't want to hang out with them, period. Because they are not a safe space for me. They don't give me peace. They just come to stress me. And I'm fine
Mm.
having them from a distance. And I do not
Mm.
care what other people say. Just because you are my sister or my brother doesn't give you a right to stress me. So if you are a stressor, it is good. Just be where you are. You are fine. I pray for you. It is good. Right?
Now, do you think so? Do you think people are stressing you intentionally? Can you talk to them? Like how they I'm trying to see how you could maybe change that situation with that, let's say, a family member. Do you find that you're comfortable talking to them about, hey, by the whatever you do hurts me, or whatever you do upsets me in a way, whatever you do triggers my crazy me, so you need to tone it down, or otherwise I'm going to shut you out of my space? Have you had that conversation with such people?
Um, I guess some of them I haven't had that conversation with them.
Mm.
And it's because you just can't engage at that level. They just push the wrong buttons. Whenever you are with them, it's like in fact, if I have to be around them, I roll. Whenever you are around them, I have to be intentional.
Okay.
To
Yes.
remain calm. And let me tell you something, Brenda, just because, there's someone who said God gave us the privilege to choose our friends, we can't choose our family,
Mm.
but just because you are family doesn't mean that you must be in my
Mhm.
space. That's what
Mhm.
I'm trying to say. You get it, Brenda?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yes, your family. I appreciate your family. I
Mhm.
love you from a distance, and it is well. And there are some relationships which will be mended, and I know that. and they'll be mended in due time. You know, there's a season for
Yeah,
everything.
there's a season for everything
Yeah,
out
and
there. Yeah.
then those which are not to be mended, it's also okay, because I
Mm-hmm.
don't think I'm ready to go to a place of not being well just because of being politically correct. That is also
Mm-hmm.
something I'm not willing to compromise. Because at the end of the day, I also struggled, and I share it again in this my book again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Struggled a lot, being a people pleaser, afraid of angering people. I went through stuff. Always trying. I have to be nice. I have to, always accommodating, even when it is
Mm-hmm.
always. And actually, that contributed to my going down. It contributed to my getting ill. So I always have to make sure people are comfortable. I always have to make sure they love me. No, there comes a time when you put boundaries, because when you
Mm-hmm.
don't also put boundaries, you are allowing people to abuse you. You know, I have had
Mm-hmm.
to be in that place. I put boundaries. Please, this is where it ends, and don't cross this line, because beyond this line, it's getting uncomfortable. It's getting uncomfortable. I can't take it anymore. And so, and
Mm-hmm.
they, by the way, they also know it, because they also are hardly in my space. They also know it is well. We understand
Mm-hmm.
that. Yes. So it's
Yeah.
a well communicated message. Mhm.
Wow. So wow, and that's something, that's I like it. There's us assuming, and there's somebody telling you, I've been in this journey. This is what I want. This is what I like. This is not what I don't like. So, and you have to respect somebody's boundaries, and the
Yeah.
fact that you're confident enough to air them out, to tell
Yeah.
people this is wanna walk home out, like this is
Yeah.
where you stop. So,
Hmm.
and they should be able to respect that. So, ah, Angela. So how is your other profession work like? How did this affect you? Because I know do you still work with the New Vision?
At the moment, no.
Okay.
I'm actually concentrating on my activism work.
Yeah.
I'm, but how it affected me, I
Yeah.
actually 7 months of work. I was not working.
Mm-hmm.
And also, all that is also in my book. Again,
Mm-hmm.
I keep
Mm-hmm.
talking about the book.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what helped me at that time, my immediate supervisor was my big sister.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in a place where I was in a comfortable space, and
Mm-hmm.
I was understood,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? Because
Mm-hmm.
she knew every step of the way what I was going through. She knew, because at one point I got two major relapses, and one actually got me into. I was unconscious for 3 days. So she walked that journey with me. She knew what was happening,
Mm-hmm.
and it after the 7 months, I remember the doctor telling me, now you can go back to work. But I'm telling you, when you have been out of the professional space for some time, I lacked confidence. I was afraid to go back and mix and mingle. I
Mm-hmm.
was
Mm-hmm.
afraid, even I was wondering, how do I even get to interview people? Because I mean, as a journalist, I have to interview people, I have to interact with people. And then the desire, the
Mm-hmm.
right again, it was not there. But I remember my husband talking to my sister then and telling her, you know what, call her, tell her she has to come to work. Yeah, tell her that. And then Bambi, I remember my sister said, oh, you must come, there's an assignment. Da, 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 da. So I remember going, and I remember her giving me an assignment. That assignment never got published. But I'm telling you, you know what, Brenda?
Yeah,
My daughter's alarm has gone off.
I hear it. Yeah, I hear it.
Let me just mute and call her.
Okay, 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 okay. So anyway, guys, so thank you for joining us today with Angela. Angela, she has a book. Yeah, so she's just so you want her book to hear more about her journey. She's had bipolar. disease. I don't know if it's even called a disease, but she's
Journey.
walked through that journey. Yes, disorder. So you can catch her book. You can email her. I'll give all the. I actually put her LinkedIn link in the bio in this description for this video. If you're in the US or any other places, you can actually order this book on Amazon. I'll also put the Amazon link in the description of this video. But please check it out. I think it would help you, or it would help somebody else that you know that might not know that they are going through this exact mental health problem. Or it might also help you to know how to help a friend, a family member who is going through the same. So Angela, yes, what were you saying again?
Okay, so sorry for that interruption. So what I was saying was, so my sister gave me an assignment which was never published, and years later I asked her, but why did you ever use that story? And she told me, you know what, the truth is, I
It
just
was
wanted
Bolongoto.
yes, and I just wanted it back to work. It was not something I could have published. I just wanted you to come back. And so it has been a journey, an exciting journey. I'm no longer afraid of what people think of me. I'm no longer afraid of their labels, and I don't allow their labels to define me anymore. You know, and one of those favorite things, because when I went public, I was at work, right? So more people are asking, hey, Angela, what's this thing? Da, 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 you know, trying to get
And
answers
you
to
being
their
a
own
journalist,
situations.
yeah.
And then I talk. It has been a journey of talking, a journey of sharing, a journey of growing, a journey of healing, a journey of hope, restoration. You know, it's a journey. And by the way, I'm enjoying this journey. For people who are Bible readers, but even though you're not a Bible reader,
And
Brenda, I
say
can
hi
see
to
there's
my friend.
someone
Hi.
interrupting you.
Say hello. Say hello to my friend. She's saying hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, what do you
So,
mean?
like, so this particular book, no, in the Bible, it's Isaiah 62. There's a part where it says, I am a royal diadem in the hands of my God. Oh, and I'm telling you, when you do your research, what is a royal diadem? It's a crown with precious stones, but for women who are royalty. You know, we need to learn to define ourselves the way God defines us.
Yes, yes, I
So I
agree.
stopped looking at the labels in the past. And I said, this is the new me. So the new me, people have to watch out for the new me. The new me, fearfully and wonderfully made. Eh?
Yeah, yeah,
For us women, we struggle a lot. Sometimes you think after you have gotten married, you are done.
yeah, yeah.
You the journey of knowing who you are never ends.
It
Because
never
even in
ends.
marriage, you need to know who you are. And you also need to know that you are putting something on that table. And when I say that, you're adding value to your husband's life. Yeah, you shouldn't be treated like, who are you? What do you do anyway? I helped you, you know? No, 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 no. You're also
Same.
adding value. Because the Bible also tells us, he who finds a wife has found favor
As
with the
find
Lord.
favor. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are beautiful. And as women, we struggle at different levels, by the way. We struggle at different levels with self esteem issues. But one thing, like, because we're talking about relationships, which I emphasize. Now, this one I'm talking to the men.
Yes, yes. Tell
I
them.
thank God for my father. My father went to be with the Lord 2013. But whatever his mistakes, one thing I thank God for that man, he never stopped calling me beautiful. Every time he would, even had nicknamed me a name after a civil activist. She's a Black American. She's called Angela Davis. He would call
Oh
me
yeah, yeah,
Angela
yeah.
Davis, beautiful daughter of your daddy. And I'm telling you, whenever daddy said that, I even when I went to secondary school, I even told people I don't care what people say.
I'm
My
the.
daddy says, I'm beautiful. I mean, when daddy has said I'm beautiful. And that's so the fathers today, because some of them are husbands now, Some are our brothers, some are uncles. Men learn to pay attention to that detail because that's what makes a woman thrive. And by the way, even your daughter, the best thing you can ever do for your daughter is to affirm her. It doesn't matter. First, women will never get tired. You know, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I chased you, man. You gave me a headache. I chased you. Now that I've married you, that's we want to be affirmed daily. Daily, you don't stop. So,
Mm-hmm.
Brenda, in case there's someone there in your life, remind him.
He's watching. He'll be watching this video to five.
You tell him, but my dear, you heard, honey, you
Mm-hmm.
heard. Please
Yeah.
continue affirming me because
Mm-hmm.
it helps you. But I really, and then you can imagine, I'm using that as my for my dad, right? But
Mm-hmm.
then
Mm-hmm.
our heavenly Father, how
Mm-hmm.
much more? You know, because yes, daddy affirmed me, but man, there are certain things I have found out about myself I would never have found out if I didn't draw close to my heavenly Father. So I am confident that my book is going to help many marriages.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because the truth is, I'll not, Brenda, I will not pretend it was tough. It was tough. Very, very painful. Some of these things I wrote, I was even crying as I wrote the book. It's going to help marriages recover, be restored, because you don't walk away just because your spouse has had a breakdown. Yeah, I mean, it could also happen to you wherever you're running off to.
Right. 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 Right.
We need to hang in there and whatever our mistakes together, walk together this journey and make it beautiful because there are many marriages which are breaking and they should not break. There are also parents who don't understand their children because with COVID, a lot of challenges happened. But children, some parents, they told when we linked up after the first lockdown here in Uganda,
Mm-hmm.
some parents were honest. They had never had a meal with
With
their
the
children
kids.
at
Yeah.
table. You know, another mother was so honest. She said, my children have never seen me in the kitchen. They were even shocked that I could cook.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
we have to bond. Our power is in our relationships. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how big your paycheck is, it doesn't matter how big the house you live
No.
in is, or
No.
how big the car you drive, but
Mm-hmm.
our real wealth is in relationships. So we
I
have to
agree.
guard them jealously and
Yeah. Yeah.
protect them. Yeah. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, honestly, family has helped a lot, a lot, a lot. I can't say it enough. I have a chapter here I've written on grieving
Mm-hmm.
because as a family, we went through a season. There's 1 year where we had, actually, 1 year there were two deaths, another year also two deaths, like 2 years apart. And when I lost my closest sister, when she went to be with the Lord, that was hard. So I have a chapter on how to cope with when you're grieving. And you know, sometimes it hits you. Sometimes when people think you're fine, is when you need their support the
Yeah.
most.
Yeah.
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 So you learn to release it and let it
Mm-hmm.
go. You learn to also forgive.
Yeah. You learn to also forgive.
It's
I
a
agree.
journey. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you have something at 5, and I also gotta get to work. So thank you so much
Thank you.
for taking your time to talk to us to
Yeah.
create more awareness on mental health and relationships, and to share with us your journey as well. So, as a
Thank you.
journalist, I know that's not easy, like for you to actually come out of your shell and just start talking about your own. You know, like with journalists, when I look at you guys, you're usually poking for other people's stories. But
People are
this,
afraid of us.
yeah, and they're afraid of you guys. So, but now you just decided to come out and tell your story. And that's a very huge milestone that most people are not very comfortable taking it. I guess it's a step at a time, but it's like the best step to healing,
Yeah.
or to creating more awareness or saving somebody else's life somewhere. So I appreciate your time, Angela. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
I'll be
you.
buying my book on Amazon tonight. And please,
Okay.
anybody get that book. I'll share her contact as well, where how you can reach out to her in case you actually are going through the same, or in case somebody who's going through the same. It could not,
Yeah.
it might be something else, mental health. You are suspecting you have those signs that she mentioned. They could be bipolar, or just you wanted somebody to talk to. So she will be a good stranger for you to talk to, because somehow she'll know what to do. She's a coach. So I hope, let's see. We have Anita here. This was lovely. Thank you for sharing. Angela, please keep bringing us these wonderful people. Yes. So, yes. Thank you, Anita, for joining. And we'll be talking more. Angela, I'll be hosting her again. And this time she'll be talking about marriages. So like she has a page in her book where she talked about that stuff, but I think we shouldn't stop talking about them. So we have to, marriages, relationships, parenting. These are things I think like the new millennials could learn from a lot. So we are becoming too impatient, but we need to draw back and be like, hey, somebody raised you, somebody brought you up until you were ready to move on with your own life. So we also need that back. Some of us don't have our parents. So if we get people like you to tell us, to guide us, it would be very, very helpful. So thank you again. What would you like to say to people? One last, you can talk about your book, where they can find it. Or
Okay.
mm-hmm,
The last short, the book, they can find it on Amazon. They just have to click Angela Kamgasa
mm-hmm,
Nsimbi.
mm-hmm,
They'll get it, and they say breaking free, they'll get it.
mm-hmm,
But the last word that I want to share,
mm-hmm,
I want to tell anybody out there, those who have been listening, those who will listen later, that they are beautiful. The
mm-hmm,
men, they are handsome. And
mm-hmm,
no one can define you except
mm-hmm,
God. And
mm-hmm,
also, don't give people permission to abuse you, because I
mm-hmm,
have been there, so I know what I'm talking about.
mm-hmm,
In fact, show people how they should treat you by
mm-hmm,
putting boundaries, by practicing self care, and also, above everything else, just remember that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. That is one verse that kept me going in
mm-hmm,
Genesis.
mm-hmm.
It is one word. So that is what I feel I should share, because Brenda, I'm sure if you've listened to some of the YouTube interviews I have had, I
Yeah.
normally mention that,
Yeah.
because it spoke to me. It spoke to me. So I just want people to remember that they are
Mm-hmm,
fearfully
mm-hmm.
and wonderfully made, and the work of God is wonderful. So I thank you so much, Brenda. Thank you for having me. I'm actually happy, because I was worried that I wouldn't make it, but I'm so
Me
happy.
too, me too. I'm so happy. Finally, we made it happen. So thank you
Yes.
again, Angela Simbi. Thank you. Keep spreading positivity, keep spreading awareness and mental health and suicidal attempts prevention, all that stuff. We need it. The world needs it. So don't get tired. I pray that you keep being motivated. To keep doing it, writing about it as you interact with so many other people. If they're comfortable sharing their stories with you, you can keep them anonymous. And so those could be series of books,
Yeah.
because yeah,
True.
it's like a different, so those could help grow your series of books, sharing other people's experiences, and you could always put them in quotes, but they would definitely resonate with so many people out there. So don't
Yeah.
get tired. We appreciate your work. We love you. Take
Thank you.
care. Thank you guys for
Take
joining us
care.
today.
Bye.
Please share the video, like the video, share with anybody else that you think might find this helpful. That will be the best way we can spread the word and serve somebody out there. So until next time, take care. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye, Angela. Bye, guys. We're ending this one.